Hi, welcome back to CZR channel. In this video, I'm going to compile 17 frequent and common intentionally or unintentionally mistakes with a brief explanation, idea and solution along the way for the DJI Mavic Mini or maybe the Mini 2 as well, or any other similar drone in the market, as most of it are quite general for your reference, so you could probably avoid it in the future. Some of it are just minor mistakes, but it could probably hinder your experience and mood. Some of it may cause some damages, or worse, the aircraft never to be seen again. Let me know in the comment below if any of it happened to you before, or you're most welcome to share your experience with everyone. So let's get it started. Gimbal and camera cover or protector. The cover or protector are meant for transportation protection only and must be removed before you power up the drone. Sometimes we tend to forget about that, especially when trying to get a quick video or photo of that one location and we don't have much time to hang around the area. Maybe stick something like a highlight sticker, label, tag, or anything eye-catching that can easily catch your attention. Memory card. Too small to realize the existence of the SD card, especially after taking it out to transfer the photo and video into a computer a day before a flight. When we reach the location the next day, set up everything and see this warning in the flight app. Best to get another backup SD card and leave it inside the case, bag, or whatever you use to store the drone. It might come in handy someday, or when you are traveling without your computer for a few days. You would probably use this chance to take as many videos or photos as possible for your compilation later. More is always better than less. Or suddenly, something happened to the SD card during mid-flight. Out of nowhere, you will have a spare to get it replaced on the spot and continue your flight. Cable. Same case as the SD card. Forget. Especially after charging the remote control. There are also plenty of reports of the cable breaking down after some time. Mine does not even last a month of owning the Mavic Mini. A spare cable does not cost a dime in your wallet or storage case. It's better to have another spare cable rather than only looking to buy when you really need it. Now let's get into the operational part. Take off without sufficient satellite or GPS. Well, technically it can be done with the assist of the bottom sensing system. If the lighting condition is sufficient and the surface is easily recognized by the sensing system. Or if you're already well prepared and know how to handle it, especially in attitude ATTI mode. Otherwise, don't be surprised that the aircraft might not hover steadily in place, move or drift itself without input from the remote control, easily affected by wind, especially on reflective surface or under low light condition. Also, the home point marking based on the aircraft current location and return to home function will only be available after acquiring sufficient satellite or until you heard this lady.
The home point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
During this period of uncertainty, a lot of unexpected things can happen if the aircraft is already flying mid-air. Direct fly.
Takeoff. The home point has been updated. Please check it on the map.
Push the ascent and forward stick to the max. Often, it shouldn't be a problem to do that. But for peace of mind, why not spend a few seconds and let it hover for a while right in front of you, input some remote control command, observe the behavior and see if there's any early sign of abnormality or maybe some weird noise. Would not it be better if you can detect the problem early or to only realize after it was few hundred meters away? Fly backward. It's cool to get some flying backward footage, but since the Mavic Mini or Mini 2 does not have any obstacle avoidance sensor and there's no rear mirror, the risk is very high unless you are a very experienced operator. Why not fly forward and just reverse the video if there's no moving object in the frame? Or if you really want to do the real backward footage, make sure you have total visual on the aircraft and probably do a few test flies slowly to know the actual situation like height and angle needed before getting the real shot. Wind speed and direction. This is a very important external factor to know if you plan to fly on windy days. Always start your flight on a headwind, so you will return with a tailwind. The UAV Focus app is good for reference of estimated wind speed, gust, and direction, and then cross-check the direction on the ground if you are not surrounded by obstacle or higher terrain. And maybe the tree can give you some hint too. You can also ascend it up vertically first, visually look at the aircraft, or observe the altitude indicator and telemetry for drastic aircraft reaction towards wind resistance without input from remote control. And if you see this is happening on top, it's better to bring it down and call it a day, unless you very well know what you are doing and have full preparation for it. RTH altitude. Setting it too high without the need, you risk more battery power consumption, longer return time, and worse, stronger wind at higher altitude. Setting it too low is still fine if your current flight altitude is higher than surrounding obstacle. Otherwise, this is not a set once and forget it type of settings, unless you only fly at one particular location every flight. Best to treat it as a habit. Check and adjust it every time in different location and flight direction, and always treat this RTH altitude as a minimum safe height guideline based on the surrounding obstacle. Either you can pre-check the location via Google Map or get it ascend vertically first. Look out for the highest obstacle on the planned flight direction and set the RTH altitude accordingly. You can adjust it anytime you want during the flight. Signal loss option. Most of the time, you would want the signal loss option to be set to RTH. If you are surrounded by trees and plan to get some low shot close by, best to change the option to hover, and remember to change it back to RTH if you plan to fly further away. Best to also treat this as a habit too, especially after an update, just in case. Home point marking. If you are in a wide open space, the home point coordinate should be quite accurate after acquiring sufficient satellite. But if you are close to nearby structure, especially building or heavily covered by trees, in my past experience, most of the time it is not where it should be marked. In this case, you should manually update the home point yourself. Otherwise, with normal aircraft condition, you will be wondering why the aircraft never returned to you. In fact, it did, to the wrongly marked home point that you did not expect. Too dependent on auto RTH. Auto RTH should be treated as a secondary recovery option. Only use it when necessary. If you had a chance to fly it back manually, do it. That way, you can ensure things are in order and probably can capture a few scenes during your way back. Quick crash shot. An easy feature to capture something without stick input from the remote control, and also an easy way to crash the aircraft. Make sure to only use the quick shot after you have carefully inspected the surrounding, especially for drone, circle, and helix. And probably place your finger on the remote control RTH button to stand by, so you can pull the brake and stop the quick shot immediately anytime if something is about to happen. 100% stick input. Speed is fun, speed is thrill, speed is everything. But try not to do it if you are flying low with obstacle around, as higher speed required more distance to stop, even with a counter direction stick input. Unless, of course, you are a very experienced operator. Maybe get to a safe height first, or find a really wide open area with no obstacle, then it's time to have some fun. Otherwise, take it slow and steady. And if you think it's hard to control the speed with your thumb, maybe you can try the pinch method. Speed control is crucial for videography. You should always practice speed control and maneuver. Battery capacity. To indulge with the aerial scene, forget to pick on the remaining battery. When the low battery warning prompted,
Battery level is low, the aircraft will go to the home point in 10 seconds.
That would be the best time to return if the aircraft is distant away. There are other external factors like the low voltage warning or a cell error warning that could potentially reduce or having inconsistent aircraft speed that will affect the chances of returning. If you manage to return with some extra juice, maybe get some low shot, a selfie, a top down of yourself, anything that is close by and does not need to worry about losing it distant away. Screen brightness versus actual exposure. if your mobile device screen brightness is low or dark. This will make you think that the live feed or camera image is darker. So you increase the exposure of the camera settings to make it look brighter and ended up taking an overexposed photo or video. In daylight, always remember to change your mobile device screen brightness to the maximum. Turn off auto brightness and keep the exposure value at 0.0 or slightly negative in general. Or you can activate the histogram or the zebra line if you know how to use it. Video recording. Don't forget to start capturing video and always have a habit to check if the timer is running or not. You don't want to return and only wonder where is the footage you have recorded earlier. And don't forget to turn off the video recording before powering off the aircraft. Otherwise, the last recorded file will be temporarily inaccessible in your SD card. The solution for this is pretty simple. Just power the aircraft on if the SD card is still with it, without the needs of connecting to the remote control or mobile device. Wait for a few seconds and shut down the aircraft. The last recorded file will then be recovered and become accessible. Panic mode. If you accidentally saw some obstacle, especially tree branches on your mobile device live feed, immediately release the remote control stick or press the RTH button once on the remote control to halt the aircraft. Take a deep breath. If you did not see any 360-degree spinning, your aircraft is still alive. Then think, what is the last stick input? Best to leave the other stick input untouched until you think you are safe to do that. That's about it. I would like to thank to those who shared the unfortunate incident all over the world for me to take note and compile the list into this video based on the frequency of occurrence. And I'm truly sorry for your losses. Your unfortunate incident sharing on the bright side will remind the rest of the operators to be more cautious. Thanks for watching and see you on my next video.